Author's name and the link to original text is in the description. The world is dead. Yes. Captain Harlan asked his communication officer. He looked at the planet on the view screen. A single habitable planet in this binary star system far out on the galactic spiral. Planetary scans had only started when the signal transmitted from some long-abandoned comm array planet side. Completely, sir. It seems it was hit with a neutron burst some thousands of years ago. Isotope dating suggests the burst was a Morlov weapon. Just a signal. He frowned. According to ancient archives recovered from many worlds, the Morlov had been a mighty empire that ruled most of the galaxy. Ruthless, xenophobic, and now extinct. Archeological evidence suggested that they ran into a death world species on the galactic spiral. There was no evidence as to what happened to these theoretical death worlders, but many, including his own Kokarn, believed that the death worlders were destroyed by the Morlov as they carried their once mighty empire to hell with them. And it overloaded the comm array? Harlan asked. Yes, sir. It just kept repeating, copying through the system, sending to everyone's per comms. Perhaps some ancient automated cyber warfare system. Harlan pondered. The world below had the gravity of a death world. Perhaps this was the homeworld of the species that finally defeated the Morlov. What secrets would this world yield after a full survey? What could they learn from it? The galaxy was split on the subject. Half held those that defeated the Morlov in near godlike status. The other half demons from death worlds capable of obliterating any who displeased them. The elder species who at the beginning of their history were slaves under the Morlov held the first view. The younger species who only knew of the Morlov from dig sites and orbital graveyards, the second. The Kokarn were new to the galactic community. They didn't have a widely held opinion yet. Perhaps we'll know once we finish the translation of the portion we were able to isolate prior to purging the comm system. Hours passed, then days. Weeks turned into months. Finally, in the deep archives, from data recovered from the oldest relics ever discovered working, a language match was found. Communications, play the message. Aye, sir. There was silence on the bridge for a moment while the ancient message loaded.
We would like to talk to you about your starship's extended warranty.
Harlan was ecstatic. They had spent a year in the binary system. They now knew the planet had once been called Terra Nova. They also now had proof that the Morlov had fought the Terra Novans. The signal, that had been code-named a scam call, had also activated other systems. Terra Nova was a dead world, but it wouldn't be forever. Buried deep below the surface, where they were protected from the neutron burst, they found terraformers, massive automated machines built to reseed life after it was wiped clean. They had known the Morlov would neutron burst their world. They had prepared for it. Evidence showed the machines were supposed to have activated long ago, but something went wrong, it seemed. After his ship scan had triggered the odious automated scam call, other automated systems came online, shielded from his ship's sensors. It was only when medical cleared a landing party to descend that these systems were detected. Following trace amounts of gases, they found the terraformers. Cracked pipes were allowing small amounts of gases to leak out before the systems were ready. Harlan had ordered the systems repaired as they continued to investigate. Terra Nova had been a daughter colony of their species. It had been considered an agricultural world before the neutron burst had rendered it lifeless. According to archived news footage that had been painstakingly recovered, restored and translated, it was only the second world of theirs attacked by the Morlov. Harlan was floored when he listened to the translation. It would have taken his people generations to build a system like the terraformers his team had found deep below the surface. These Terranovans had done the same in under a solar year, and they'd done it while their system's militia held off the Morlov. Not their species' formal military, which the translation said had still been mobilizing. Just a volunteer militia, using civilian weaponry. He mused about that. The Terranovans had such martial might that a volunteer civilian militia had held off what their own news called the most technologically advanced species ever encountered for a solar year. He was snapped from his thoughts by his comm officer. "What is it?" he asked. "The ground team, sir. They found something." "What did they find?" "Stasis pods." Stasis pods, considered by many in the galactic community to be the holy grail of any long-range exploration. It didn't matter how advanced a ship was or how fast it went, the crew still needed to eat. And while rations had a massive shelf life, they tasted awful. Fresh foods could be kept for a few months and in some cases years in refrigeration units. But stasis, so long as it had power, you had food as fresh as the moment the field was activated. Not even the elder species had stasis technology. The greatest minds in the galaxy had chased that dream for generations. And Harlan's team had just found working stasis pods on a not-so-dead death world. Working stasis pods with survivors inside. Working stasis pods they could not open without killing the occupants. Working stasis pods that would only open once the terraformers were finished with their assigned task. Ersepas, the head of his ground teams, as well as senior scientist embarked, said if they could take apart one of the pods, they could reverse engineer it. "Are there any pods where the occupant has perished?" Ersepas shook his head. "No, Captain, not yet at least." He frowned. "And you're certain we cannot open a pod without killing its occupant?" "Correct. We do not know the command sequence, and if we simply pry it open, the temporal distortion will kill them." He let out a sigh. "Then under no circumstances are you to open a pod. If you find an empty one, or one with a dead occupant, we will revisit the issue." "Of course, Captain." Every day his teams were finding new discoveries. Last week a team had found an automated farm, a barely functional solar array, kept a hydrogen collector just active enough to replenish a hydrogen fuel cell tractor as it limped through its barren fields. Some kind of metal rims with traces of some kind of rubberized hydrocarbon wheels, long rotted away. But the machine still worked. Still plowed a field yearly that had been devoid of vegetation for ages. Information about the galaxy, before the elder species ventured into the stars, was being uncovered daily. And yet every new discovery, every new piece of information uncovered, was going to be dwarfed by the discovery of stasis pods. At least that's what he thought, until his per-comm beeped at him. Captain Harlan speaking.
An unauthorized purchase of an ePhone 29 Extreme for 2744 credits has been ordered from your Amazon account. To cancel your order or to speak to one of our customer support representatives, press 1.